Open a beginner's audio timeline and you'll usually find the same thing. Two, maybe three tracks, dialogue, music, a sound effect that somebody found online, and it's all crammed together on unlabeled tracks with no real logic to any of it. Ask them why, and the answer is almost always the same. They didn't know it needed to be any different. It's all just audio, right? It's not all just audio. Each element has its own job. And if you're managing everything the same way on the same tracks, your mix is going to feel off, even when you can't actually name what's wrong. This video covers the four core layers, what each one does, and how to organize your Fairlight session so that you have actual control over all of it. Audio post-production was the first thing that I formally studied. Right out of high school, before I went to film school, a sound engineering diploma with a focus in audio post-production. What stuck with me from that program is that sound is at least half the experience of watching anything. Actually, I think it's more than half. The image gets your attention, sound is what makes you feel something. And after 13 years of teaching filmmaking and media production, audio is still almost always treated as an afterthought. Students spend weeks planning shots, lighting, locations, and then they just point whatever mic is closest, record what they get, drop some music in the edit, and they call it done. The ambience, the layered effects, the actual sound design, that's all missing or barely there. And that's what this video is here to change.
So I've got Fairlight open here with a multi-element project. I'm using the same project that we have in previous videos in the series. There's dialogue, there's some sound effects, there's ambience, and there's a music track as well. And before we talk about what each layer does, I want to actually kind of show you something, take you through something. I want you to look at how this timeline is organized, right? Every element's on its own track, clearly labeled. I've labeled the tracks. There's dialogue tracks at the top, sound effects next, ambience tracks, and then music at the bottom. And, this is what a working session should look like. And now, I want you to think about and compare that to what most beginner timelines are going to look like. One, maybe two tracks, sometimes dialogue and music mixed together on the same track, sound effects just dropped in various places wherever there was space, no labels, no logic. Think about the differences between those and how having something organized like this will make things a hell of a lot easier. And the difference in what you can control between these two setups is essentially enormous. When everything is separate, you can adjust one element without touching anything else. You can mute one layer or one track to hear what the mix sounds like without it. You can solo a specific thing to just work on that specific track. You can apply EQ or compression to specific layers, specific tracks without affecting anything else. When everything is crammed onto two, maybe three tracks, you've got almost no control over it at all. That's the first habit that I want you to build before anything else in this video. Separate everything onto individual tracks. Do it before your gain staging, right when you're starting out your session, just before you start working on your audio. Separate things onto individual tracks. Do it before, as I said, gain staging, before you touch EQ. Do it before you touch compression. Do it before you even think about the levels and where they're at. Organization is not a finishing step, it's a starting step. It's what you should do first. Now, there are four core audio layers in a typical video or film mix, and let's go through each one. Layer one is dialogue, and we've already spent a couple of videos on this, so I'm going to keep it brief. Dialogue is the most important layer in almost every mix. It carries the story, it carries the performance. Everything else in the mix exists in relationship to it, which means that everything else needs essentially to make room for it in the mix. Dialogue goes on mono tracks, one track per source if possible, one track for your primary speaker, another for a secondary speaker, and each additional voice should get its own track. Keeping them separate gives you individual control over each performance. Layer 2 is sound effects or SFX. So sound effects are the hard sounds that correspond to specific on-screen events. So a door closing or footsteps, a phone ringing, a car passing, a knife shing if you like to make horror films like I do. These are sync sounds. They happen at a specific moment and they exist to make the world on screen feel real and physical for the audience. One thing I think that beginners consistently miss, sound effects almost always need to be layered. A single door close sound effect from a free sound library sounds like a single door close sound effect from a free sound library. But two or three complementary sounds layered together, the latch, the low end of the impact, maybe a subtle room reflection, that starts to sound like a real door in a real room as opposed to a sound effect from a sound effects library. The same goes for footsteps, impacts, ambient events. Professional sound designers almost never use a single sound for anything. They build sounds out of multiple layers. So put your sound effects on their own dedicated tracks, separate them from the dialogue, separate them from the ambience, label them, and you'll thank yourself later. Layer 3 is ambience. This is the layer that beginners miss most often, I think, and it's the one whose absence causes the most damage to the mix. So, ambience is the continuous background sound of a location. The hum of a room, traffic outside a window, perhaps, wind through the trees, the particular quality of silence that a specific space has. Every real location essentially has it, and when it's missing from a mix, something feels wrong, even if the viewer can't really tell why. And I want to kind of take you through a practical problem when ambience is absent. So your dialogue was recorded on location, which means it has, the natural sound of that space baked into it, but only when someone is speaking, essentially, because you're going to chop the dialogue up into various little pieces. So if you look at these pieces of dialogue, the blue sections here, these are the pieces of dialogue throughout here, and there's gaps in between them. Between those lines in the cuts between the shots, or when there's gaps, in any moment where the dialogue track goes silent and there's nothing, the mix is going to go dead. And that dead silence essentially draws attention to every cut, to every transition. It'll draw attention to itself. And the viewer doesn't consciously think, oh, the ambience has dropped. They just feel that cut. It feels abrupt. It feels like a beginner film or a student project. So a consistent ambient track running underneath the entire scene covers those cuts. It creates the sense of a continuous space, even as the picture cuts between different setups. And the audience feels like they're in one place for the whole scene because the sound of that place never really goes away. And if you look at ambience for this project, these green sections, and you can see that there's different locations here. I've got outside bedroom and entrance, and you can see that these are continuous. They don't allow the sound of that space to essentially go dead. And just remember, in Fairlight, your ambience track should be stereo. Most ambient recordings have natural width to them. You're going to want to set it low in the mix. It should be felt more than heard. If someone is consciously noticing your ambience track, it's probably too loud. And you can see that these are stereo. You can see there's left and right. You can actually see the 2.0 next to it on each of these tracks. So the ambience tracks here are stereo. Layer 4 is music. Now, music is the most emotionally powerful layer in a mix. It can also be the most dangerous one, though. It's powerful because it directly tells the audience how to feel. The wrong music choice or music that's too loud can completely override the emotional intent of a scene. I've watched student projects where a genuinely well acted, well shot scene was undermined by a music track that was fighting the performance instead of essentially supporting it. But I also feel like the most common mistake with music in beginner mixes isn't the wrong choice of music, it's the wrong level. Music that's too loud buries the dialogue. When a viewer is working to hear what someone is saying because the music is competing for the same space, they disengage and the story is essentially going to lose that audience member. Music also goes on stereo tracks. In a basic mix, you'll often have one music track, maybe two if there are transitions between cues. We just have one music track in this project, and you can see again that it's stereo. There's left and right, and you can see the 2.0 there. Make sure you keep music separate from everything else and keep it at a level where it supports the scene without announcing itself. So now let's talk about how to set this up in Fairlight practically, because organization in the timeline is what makes all of this workable. The standard approach is to group your tracks by type and keep them in a consistent order. The convention that most mixers use, and I'd suggest maybe that you adopt this from the start, runs from top to bottom. So dialogue is at the top, like you see here, that those are essentially these blue tracks. SFX are below that, and you can see that's the pink, and ambience is below that, that's in green. And then music is at the bottom, and that's in yellow. And the reason dialogue goes at the top isn't just convention, it's a visual reminder of the hierarchy of the audio. Every time you look at your timeline, dialogue is the first thing that you see. It's a nudge to keep it front and center in your decision making. In Fairlight, you can rename any track by double clicking the track name on the left side of the timeline. So if I was to just go to audio track 1 here, if I double click there, it'll allow you to change the name of the track. I would say name your dialogue tracks DX or DIAL. I usually use DX and then I put the character's name after that. And you can see that I've done that here. Name your SFX tracks SFX, and I've got two of them, so I've just called them SFX 1 and 2. Name your ambience tracks AMB, and you can see that I've called them AMB outside, AMB bedroom, and AMB entrance. And then name your music track MX or music, and I've just kept it as music in this project. These are the standard abbreviations that you'll see in any professional audio session. And you can also color code tracks in Fairlight, like I've done here, by right-clicking on the track over here and going down to this part of the menu here, and then changing the color to whichever color you would want to use. You can actually change the color of multiple tracks if you select the first track like that, hold shift on your keyboard, select the bottom track, and you can right click on that bottom track and just go to change track color, and then you can change it there and it'll change all of those tracks colors that you have selected. And color coding tracks isn't cosmetic. Color coding means you can scan your timeline at a glance and know exactly what you're looking at. So I know that dialogue is blue, SFX are pink, ambience is green, and music is yellow in this session or in this project. Just make sure each of those different layers of the mix are color coded differently. Pick a system and stick to it. And if you now look at, the timelines here, the mixer is on the right here and the index is on the left here. You can see the colors are all there on each of them. So we've got colors on the left here. The actual audio on the timeline is color coded, and then we've got the colors at the top on the mixer as well. And that just really allows you to be organized. And then once your tracks are organized, you need a rough framework for how the layers should relate to each other in terms of level. And I want to give you a bit of a starting point here, not rules, just a framework. So always make sure that dialogue leads. If you can't clearly hear and understand every word of dialogue, your mix isn't balanced correctly. Everything else adjusts to make room for the dialogue. And we talked about the average level for dialogue in the gain staging video. Ambience sits low, typically 15 to 20 decibels below your dialogue level. You want it present, but not forward in the mix. If you can clearly hear it as a distinct element, you want to pull it down. Sound effects is going to sit somewhere between ambience and dialogue, depending on the function of the sound effect at that specific part of the story in the project. A background sound effect, a distant siren, a passing car, that's going to sit closer to the ambience level. But a foreground sound effect, a door slam that's important to the scene, that can sit close to the dialogue level for that moment. Sound effects are contextual. There's no fixed level for them. It's just about figuring out whether that sound effect is background or foreground, and then tweaking the level to make sure that it is where it needs to be. Music, I think, is the most variable. Under heavy dialogue, music is going to typically sit well below, maybe 20 decibels under the dialogue level, maybe a little bit more. In a music forward moment where there's no dialogue, it can sit much higher in the mix. The key here is that it changes. Music that stays at the same level throughout a scene, regardless of what's happening in the dialogue, feels static and it feels wrong. And that's what automation is for. And we're going to cover that in a later video. For now, set rough starting levels for each layer using these relationships kind of as a guide. Play your timeline back and ask yourself one question. Can I hear every word of dialogue clearly? If yes, you're in that right ballpark. If no, find out what's competing and pull that back so that the dialogue is always front and center in the mix.
So that's 4 layers, 4 jobs, all separate, all organized, all working in relationship to each other. Remember, dialogue leads, sound effects ground the scene in physical reality, and they almost always need to be layered, not just dropped in as a single sound. Ambience creates the continuous sense of space that makes a location feel real and makes your edits feel invisible. Music shapes the emotional experience, and it will eat your dialogue for breakfast if you let it. Separate everything onto individual tracks before you do anything else. Label those tracks, color code them, give yourself real control over every element in that mix. In this next video, we're getting into mixing and panning, using faders to set the balance between layers, and using the stereo field to give your elements space. I'll see you there.